This is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
You're listening to INC Radio.
Broadcasting live from Chicago, Illinois. DZEM 954 AM station. Here to bring you great conversations about faith, people, places, culture, and recent events all around the district. Join us on YouTube at INCradio.org. Hello, Northern Midwest and the rest of the world. It's time to get this show started.
Hello, everyone. It is time to get this show started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you who've tuned in to INC Radio, Northern Midwest Satellite Studio. I'm Abriel Romero, one of your hosts for today, and there I am right now on your screen. Glad to see you all, and I'll be with you all this afternoon, where it is 6:03 a.m. in the Philippines, 4:03 p.m. here in Chicago. And it's not just me, of course, but I'm also joined by Elsa and Tony, who you will see later in our discussion. But please feel free, for all of you in our YouTube live chat, to please leave your comments and anything you want to contribute to our discussion for this afternoon. They're down below or on the side. I think I'm pointing the right way. But we love to read your answers regardless. So, Tony and EJ, thank you for joining our discussion today. We're going to talk about food and family, but it's not going to be... What was that?
Two of my favorite things.
But it might not be in the way that you're thinking of, though. Because we're not going to necessarily talk about food that maybe your parents or your siblings are known for making, like if they have like a special recipe or something like that. But we're going to talk about more of foods that cause you and your family members to have a good memory together. For like example, I commented already with out to Rachel there in our YouTube live chat. I remember when I was younger, when they used to babysit us, when she and her siblings used to babysit us, we would always have a breakfast of corned beef and rice. Always. Like, without fail, because that was like the only thing they knew how to make. So that's like something that's always going to be like cherished in my memory. So we're going to talk about more of those memories with you guys and with everyone in our YouTube live chat. So yes, I guess, to start it off, I know I mentioned one already, but if whoever wants to go first, what are some other food family combinations that you associate with awesome memories?
It's not a specific food for me, I would say, but do you guys know what budol fight is? It's
Yes.
like a style of meal, like in like in the Philippines, where you have like you have this banana leaf and you have rice and all of the side dishes that go along with it, and everyone just grabs from there. So everyone just eats from there. We did a lot of that when when we were younger. We were still in the Philippines. Like my family did a lot of that. Every time we'd have the time to kind of like to meet up with family members. We don't usually see. We only see a couple times like a month, and like that like every well, I don't have it like as often here, but like every time I hear about like budol fight, like that makes me think back on like those memories.
It's with the banana leaf too, right?
Yes, it has to be banana leaf.
The banana leaf and everything. Yeah. I feel like there's so many foods aside from just like my parents, even like with the extended family. I just remember growing up I was debating, should we start with like appetizers or desserts or like main meals? Like there's so many to choose from. I feel like I grew up with a lot of baked goods in my extended family. Like I had a lot of aunts who were just really good at baking cookies or brownies, and then my aunt had like a famous like pasta salad that she ended up teaching her kids that we really enjoyed. Shout out to them over there in Detroit, who are celebrating actually their 40th anniversary. Shout out to them today. my mom though, she typically gets teased in a fun way for not knowing how to cook. But the dishes that I actually like love the most are some of the things that she cooked growing up, which was like a pineapple chicken tomato thing. I don't know what the dish is called, but it was just really good. It was like one of those, and then like beef, like a beef steak kind of thing. Yeah, so she was able to cook those, and she doesn't know how to cook a lot of things, but the things that she did know how to cook, I did enjoy those
Is
a
it the
lot.
one with like the beef steak thing? Is it the one with like soy sauce and like like chopped like onions?
Not quite, not traditional like beef steak. It was more like a it didn't have as much sabao, I guess. It
Oh,
was just more it was like it was like strips of beef, and then it did have the onions, but it was more like you tasted more of like the pepper like seasoning in hers.
Ooh.
Yeah, so not as salty because she's not a fan of salt too much. So yeah, that's one of two of the things that I remember eating growing up. So, yeah.
That sounds really good. I know everyone in our YouTube live chat is probably getting hungry.
I'm curious about the
Um,
chicken pineapple thing because I know pineapple will tenderize like
Debatable.
yeah.
Oh, oh, I thought you were gonna say it's like a debatable, like whether to
Oh
include
no
it.
no no. This called back from SES last week. Like I'm a fan of like putting pineapple on like dishes. I like
Things.
pineapple and adobo. So,
Yeah, you're
ooh,
right though. It
that
does
makes it
tenderize.
work.
It does tenderize things. Yeah. So it was like a tomato and pineapple and chicken. I don't know if it's like a variation of afritada. Maybe I
what's
don't think it was. I don't think it was though because
what's the
afritada has the
consistency of the
sauce.
soup?
I don't know.
Like what's the
Any-
consistency of the soup? Is like watery
It
or like a
it's
sauce?
more watery. That's why I wouldn't say it's like afritada. It has like
Mhm.
patis or like the fish sauce in
Huh.
it. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. You guys have to help me if you know if you know what that's called.
It's like a true like signature dish. It's not like a
Me?
recipe. Like it's your
Maybe
mom's
so.
personal recipe.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Maybe she learned it from her mom. I don't know. I should probably ask her after the broadcast.
Oh, no, that is a good point though. Like some of these foods like are like passed down recipes too, which is really sweet. Like especially if you're like growing up in the kitchen together, like learning how to make it. But there are maybe like a couple dishes that I kind of wish I learned how to make from my Lola. We call her Mama. Um what I remember her making when I was like younger, like in elementary school, like when my sister and I were both in elementary school, like whenever we would come home from school, like we would see her in the kitchen. It would be like just her because my mom would be like sleeping already because she worked nights. So we would always see like my grandma at home. And my Lola would be sitting in front of the TV, like in the kitchen, and she would be making lumpia, like from scratch. So like she would have like the meat like in a big bowl, and like she would be putting it on the lumpia wrappers, like flattening it out and then like rolling it by hand. And at times, like whenever I say lumpia, like at a buffet maybe, or just like on a restaurant menu, I'd always think about like, ah, I miss that. Like I know like people always say like, oh, their relatives like lumpia is the best, or like whatever recipe. Like they always say like, oh, the way my mom made it or the way my Lola made it, that's the best way.
I
But
think there's like a
you say that.
scientific reason for that. Again, not an expert. An expert. This is just something in like an article I read. Like the way your mom cooks food, or it just because of like genetics.
Mhm.
Your taste like in food is similar to your mom's. So
I
whatever
was gonna
tastes
say
good for her, like it tastes good for you.
no. I was gonna say because another thing I wanted to I recalled was that my mom and I actually have like similar tastes. Like so, one of our favorite desserts is sancerval. So like the cake, like covered in like it's peanut, right? Or cashews. I
Yeah.
guess it depends. But we always like that. Like at times I'll come home and then I'll see it in the freezer. And then I'll be like, okay, maybe I could like sneak out and to grab a slice.
So you
Maybe
gotta
maybe
make
she
me
won't
think
notice.
of like my mom's favorite dishes. Like for me, every time I eat kare kare or palabok. I always remember my mom because I was like, oh, these are my mom's like favorites. Like those are like her favorite dishes. So like you kind of get that memory of like, oh, I know my mom would love this. 'Cause you're like it's not something she cooked. That's what we're talking about. It's not necessarily something that they cook, but like every time you eat it, you just think of like, oh, I know who would love this because like whether it's like they love this specific flavor, maybe they like sweet and salty kind of food, or like it's just this specific dish that they always talked about. So
Yeah.
like, oh, like every time we eat this, it makes me think of like it makes me think of my mom, makes me think of my dad because this is like their favorite food.
I'm trying to think also because it's not necessarily like also foods that they've cooked. It's also I've also had like memories of like foods that are their like go-to orders whenever they go to restaurants too. Like my mom and my Auntie Rachel's they're in the YouTube live chat. Whenever they go to breakfast, they always order French toast. Always, like without fail. Like if there was no pancake, like if French toast wasn't on the menu, then they have like a really hard time trying to figure out what else to order. So there has to be like French toast on the menu. And then I know my dad, whenever we order like Mexican food, he always needs to get lengua tacos. Like always, like
Oh,
that's his go-to man. That's his like go-to.
Lingua, that's cow tongue,
Cow's
right?
tongue, yeah. And like I haven't really ventured out to go and try it myself, but like
It's tender.
that's like what he always gets.
Mm.
And then like if the restaurant there like doesn't have it, like we won't go to that restaurant. So we'd always have to pick somewhere else, or we'd always have to get that if that's what he wants. So
Or
yeah, I
is
don't know, it's pretty
mom's,
interesting.
like comment there? She said kare in Boppies. Sorry, I forgot that's also my favorite. Boppies.
both is really good. My grandma used to make like really good both and I was a picky eater when I was younger. So if you got me to eat, unique unique stuff like that,
Mhm.
that was a good sign. I feel like it also extends to my friends too, like my really
Yeah.
really close friends. One of the foods that hits home for me is like a more of a baked good, and I think like a really call back to like when it was like the beginning of the pandemic when we were doing like the competition between foods. That's why banana bread is so like sentimental to me. That's why I saved the banana bread because my best friend, she would always make that for me. And like she's not a cooker, she's not like huge on cooking or baking, but she would always whenever she would make some for herself, she would make some for me. And like I really like bananas. So like when she would make the banana bread, she would add like chocolate chips and like stuff like that. And she did a really good job. She did a really good job at like cooking it, and like she would kind of criticize herself sometimes. She's like, "No, I love it. It's really good." And she would always save me some. So that's why banana bread is so important to me. I never got to share that story before, but that's why I always try to save the banana bread. Save the banana bread. Yeah.
Those are all so sweet, and I'm loving everyone's reactions there in our YouTube live chat. I see a bunch of I'm just trying to like quickly read through some. Like Pandesal is a big one I see multiple times in YouTube live
Yes.
chat.
Like
Pandesal.
the essential Filipino breakfast, selling coffee.
Yeah, no matter how you have it, but
Your pandesal, coffee, or pandesal and egg. Like that's the usual combination I hear.
love that. And while those in our YouTube live chat keep filling out that comment section with all the trays, I mean all their choices and suggestions, I would say.
Question for you guys.
Yes.
Like since Tony brought it up, it made me think of
Mhm.
this. Like, is there like a certain food that maybe you cook like with your mom or with your dad, like with your parents, that like every time you make it, like it makes you think like of them because like you cook it together.
Hmm.
Because Tony brought up banana bread, and for me and my mom, that's what we do. Like every time, like like we have like bananas that are like they're close to like being
Yeah.
overripe. That's what we'll do.
Right.
We'll cook them into banana bread. So I didn't think of that. I wonder if you guys have that, like with like your parents or your siblings, maybe even like extended family.
I don't cook. That's the problem. I don't cook. That's the biggest problem of this. That's the biggest problem. So what I will say is that in the times that I have tried to cook, it's usually for the sake of someone else. Like the first time I tried to make lugao is because I know my mom loves lugao. Like and I try and then we did it for like one of the holidays here, like because it's like cold season. We were both off, and I just like surprised her. I was like, she was like trying to get food. We were trying to buy food from somewhere. I was like, no, 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 like don't worry about it. Like we can just eat something at home. She's like, what are we gonna eat at home? And then we came home, and I had all this lugao, and I was like, I don't know if it's any good, but I just made some because I know you really like lugao. So that's one of the examples that I can think of. We didn't do it together, but that's like I feel like I cook for the sake of others, if that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
was gonna say something along that line too. Like the memories that I have, like I don't remember like actually kind of collaborating on a single dish, but it's more so when it comes to like family parties and things like that. Like each of us kind of knows what to make, so we would like special. I don't want to say specialized, but kind of like my sister would make like a certain like appetizer or something. So she like all her dishes would be like different appetizers. Then I would make like a different one, and then like my dad would be in charge of like the main dish or something like that. So it's not necessarily memories of us working together on a dish yet. Yet I still want to know how to make my dad's kare kare. So hopefully in the future that
It's
I'll learn how to make
yeah.
that. But yeah, it's more just working together on a certain dish. Oh, after Rachel mentions oh, I guess I do have a certain dish that she thinks of when I make it. I used to make I haven't actually made it in a while, but like stuffed mushrooms. That's what I would do. It's like
Ooh,
mushrooms with like I know I would add like bacon in there. I think it was like
what
mozzarella,
kind?
like
Like
multiple kinds of cheese, like
Yes.
small.
like the small ones. So it would
Oh,
just be like a one bite type of
Mhm.
thing. So
I
okay.
know which one you're talking about. Is it like the one with like melted cheese on like that?
hmm melted
Mm.
cheese and then like some parmesan on top, so they're like a little crisp on there when it's like baked. Yeah,
I have a pahabol one because
yeah.
Sister Judy is in the live chat, and she's like everybody's mom in Sterling Heights, and
hmm
she is known for her sisig, and everyone will always request her sisig, and I think we featured it here before on Northern Midwest. It's really really good. I think of her. When I think of sisig, whenever I go somewhere and eat sisig, I learned to like it. And there's one other thing, I forgot what it's called. It's the typically it's the quail eggs, but we
Oh,
tried it with eggs, and it's like the deep fried, and then like you guys what I'm
it has a
talking about.
clothing. I think that one's called quack quack.
Yeah, she taught me
Only
how to
made
make she taught me how to make that, and I was like, I never tried it again, but I didn't realize like that's how you do it when we did it. It was like with a big egg, so it was kind of hard. You're supposed to use
Oh,
like
yeah. Like a small one, like a quail egg.
yeah.
This is a small
So it was really hard to kind of yeah, but that was fun too. So yeah, they're all watching. Shout out to everyone who's watching us in the Sterling Heights right now. They're all I see them all in the live
I
chat.
see a lot
They're,
of like sort of
they're somewhere
There's
in the
somewhere.
building.
Okay. And then just really quick because like we mentioned, it's not just the food and just family separated, but like they're united together in some way. So why to each of you is this connection just so strong? Why do we automatically like think of family whenever we think of food or vice versa? How does that connection become so strong?
eating together is just sorry, I'm Tony. Eating together is just like when you eat like like think of it like this way. Like you can eat alone by yourself, but why
Mhm.
do we choose to eat with other friends sometimes? Why do we choose to like, oh, let's meet up here, let's eat like here? It's because it's fun to eat with someone else. So you know that what they say like food tastes better if you're eating with someone.
Mhm.
Like seeing like seeing the smile, seeing the happiness, like that like food, like if even if you're eating outside like with your friends or family, like seeing their smiles, it's like there's like a feeling like associated with that, like a happy feeling associated with it, especially if it's something like you cook together or something, with Tony, something you cook for like for them, and seeing, like seeing the smiles, the happiness they have like while they're eating, like the maybe the stories, the jokes that are shared like at the dinner table, or even just the talks like shared, around the table. Like it's an experience that is, like even at the moment it might not seem much, but when you look back on them, especially maybe if you're going through like something, like you're going through really tough part of like your education, maybe in college or away from family, and you're having that meal, like it makes you think of them. Like there's a comforting feeling in that, I think.
Nice. You have
Yeah.
anything to add, Tony?
I don't know what to add. I don't know what else to add to that. I feel like food is such a, I think of it the same way as music. It's something so universal that can connect people, and it's a really simple and easy way to do that. Just like what EJ said, you can always ask someone out to come to your house for dinner, or you can ask to go out for a cup of coffee, and like just bonding like through those moments and seeing what the other person, that's like a very organic way to see what somebody likes and what they don't like, and you can kind of learn more about them like just in that dinner or just in that coffee run. And you get to remember that stuff, and when you remember it, you can use it the next time, and then maybe it might be something that you like. Just introducing these different things to one another is always really fun. So yeah, it's a good bonding tool, I would say.
Yes, and just in, since we've been talking about, like food, family, our CSD department, Christian Society for the Deaf, here in Northern Midwest, actually prepared, to teach us a sign, a sign language sign with the theme family there. So let's learn how to sign.
Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Sister Sophia, and I'm the secretary for the Christian Society for the Deaf here in the District of Great Lakes. And for today's sign of the week, I'm going to teach you how to sign the phrase family dinner. Now, to start off, we're going to learn how to sign the word family. To do that, with both of your hands, you're going to make the letter F, which is when you bring your index and your thumb together, just like this, and your other fingers are going to be standing up. Next, all you have to do, make sure your index and your thumbs are touching each other, and then you will move your hands forward to where your pinkies will touch each other. One more time. And that's how you sign family. Now, to sign the word dinner, all you have to do, with your dominant hand, you're going to bring all of your fingers together, just like this. And then you'll bring it to your mouth. And then in the next motion, with your non-dominant hand, you're going to lay it out flat. And with your dominant, you're going to bring it out over your non-dominant. One more time. And that's how you sign dinner. Now, we're going to put those two together, so it would be family, dinner. Thank you for joining us in today's Sign of the Week, and we hope to see you in more future activities.
This is your
Yes, thank you to our CSD department for sharing that sign language with us. And speaking of upcoming activities, we have our district book club special gathering. So that'll be on December 8th at 6 p.m. and it'll be held in the Chicago Chapel. And if I'm not mistaken, we also have our district book club night, which will be on the 29th of December. Time and date, or not time and date, time and venue, I should say, is still to be announced.
Ooh, yes. Always looking forward to different stuff that are happening throughout the District of Great Lakes. But before we go, we do have to close out the show soon, but we want to reveal the hashtag winners from last week. So let's see who topped the board this time. Always constantly surprised with how the boards are.
will mention first, of course. Oh, my cousin's there.
Ooh. Shout out to Dana.
Yeah.
Dan.
1A though.
Okay.
Oh,
Rockford.
Rockford.
Rockford in place. Congrats, Rockford. Your place now?
Sterling Heights.
Yay! Bloomingdale though is like hitting all the individuals so far.
Oh.
Very nice. Whoa! Bloomingdale again for individual and Park Ridge. Park Ridge for second place. Wow! And Bloomingdale, no surprises there. No surprises there. I saw that. This is all the individual. That was a full sweep, DJ. That was a full sweep of just all Bloomingdale for individual. Shout out to all of you. Congrats. Congrats.
Of course, not
And,
just Bloomingdale, of course, yeah, but also everyone there.
Yeah, it's not yes, everyone who's been supporting in the team live chat, we thank you so much for tuning in, and maybe your local congregation will make next week's, and let us know what topics that you guys want to discuss. Feel free to reach out to your local leadership, or anyone that you're in contact with for INC Radio. Look for me, Abe, or EJ, anywhere. Let us know what you want to talk about. But of course, before we close out the show, we do want to give a special thanks to our Great Lakes District ministers, Brother Arthur P. Agag, and to Brother Elmer A. Sarmiento. And of course, to our Northern Plains District Minister, Brother Elmer Parungao, and the rest of the district staff. And a very special thanks to Brother Angelo Aranyo V. Manalo, our SEPSI President and CFO Coordinator, and Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our Executive Minister. Thank you to everyone who's commented there in the live chat today. Please continue to keep supporting INC Radio across the board, and we hope that you go out there and be phenomenal. Thanks for staying with us throughout our broadcast. We'll see you again same time next week. Bye-bye, everyone. Go eat some family dinner.
There we go.
Yeah. Family dinner. Bye.
Everyone. Okay, weekend.
Family. Family. Family dinner. Family.